Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and one of the recurring themes on this channel seems to be flush cutters, and that's probably because I use zip ties for a lot of things, and being able to flush cut them or cut them at a place where they are not going to actually snag on anything, especially skin, is pretty important. Now there are kind of the stamped steel flush cutters. These are good, they're inexpensive, they're fairly effective, and I've done a bunch of videos on those. But to get into one of these nicer, heavier duty forged ones, usually you have to get up into the upper 20s, 30s, into the 70s if you go Snap-on. Icon makes an excellent set. I did a video under a microscope that showed that these actually cut a little bit better or finer than the Snap-on, at least the two pairs that I compared. But here's another one I'm going to share with you. This is a company, it's a Chinese company called Speedwox, W-O-X, so Speed, W-O-X. It's spring-loaded, silky smooth, forged steel, chrome vanadium, and it is designed for mostly plastic models and things like that where you need to get in. Very similar, actually, to this Sonoda. And this actually has an extra pair of kind of plier grips on it. Great design. Not quite as universal as like the standard Snap-on here, or Snap-on's fancy dual head design with both a wire cutter and the flush cutters. Be careful with that. But anyway, this thing sells. I got it for $8 and change. I think it's $9 and change right now. So you can get a forged steel fairly effective, and I'm going to call this about 98%. That's a lot. Now, I don't know what its longevity is, and as you can see, there is a defined space between those. Now, one of the things that you want to look at with a flush cutter is how closely the actual flush cutting part comes. So if you look right up here as this closes, it should be near smooth. This, on the other hand, is for cutting wire, and there's obviously going to be a gap leaving space. But if I take a real fine bit of the zip tie here and slide this right up onto it, so you can see it does shoot it across the room. And in fact, I was nipping some cardboard, and it actually would tear the cardboard quite a bit further than where the blade ended, because there's a lot of shock in this. But anyway, there it is. Is it good enough? I'm going to call it about 98%. It's not perfect. You're not going to cut yourself on it. Whereas if I move a little further, by the way, I'm going to use the Snap-ons, but I did another video where I compared these icons head to head to the Snap-ons. The icon's considerably less, and it turned out the icon under high magnification actually cut it a little bit better. But anyway, here's the Snap-on. You can see what I'm starting with, and then nip that off. So on the Snap-on, it's about perfect. Go back to this Speedwox. By the way, I've noticed there are a whole bunch of options. This one looked like one of the best and the least expensive. So there I am lined up. And what do I have here? It's hard to see, I guess, with the contrast, but that's quite good. So anyway, if you are interested in a pair of these, you don't want to spring for the icons, or you've got maybe some of the pressed steel ones. You wanted something a little smaller, a little bigger, heavier jaw, something like that. And maybe you don't want to mortgage the house and buy the Snap-ons. Could I recommend these? Honestly, for the price, if you're an average user, yeah, sure. I think they're great. Plus, these are sensitive. They are designed to be covered up. You got to be careful with them. You have to be really careful what you cut with them. That's why I did the video on these saying, don't loan them out, because you've got to know how this thing works, or you will ruin it if you try to cut wire on the front end here. But if something happens here, you're out $10 maybe. I haven't destroyed them trying to see, but they do feel quite solid. And if you get on some bigger stuff, just listen to this snap. Just shoots it across the room when it goes. And you can see, nice and smooth. So comes with this cover, so they do take it serious. It is for models, so I think there is a group of people who actually really care about their tools, but on a small plastic scale. Anyway, thought I'd show you one of those in person in case you've seen such a thing and wondered if it worked. It appears to work. It's silky smooth. It does, you know, I keep squeezing it and it's leaking oil. So from the factory, it's actually better than how some of the snap-ons arrive. But Speedwox, for what it's worth. And with that, Doc out.